Welcome to the Social Stack, your go-to channel for marketing tips based in technology for your real estate business. I'm Amy Stack, and today we're going to be talking about email templates and how to create and use them inside the Keller Williams Command platform. Thank you guys all for joining today. Please feel free to unmute or use the chat when you do have questions. I am going to roll right into it and get my screen shared here. And if you guys could just give me a thumbs up, let me know you can see it. It's just a Google screen right now. Angie, thank you. So I'm just going to log right into Command. If you guys were on while we were starting, had some background music, this is a little template I put together. So we're going to make something similar to that. Now, there are lots of different reasons you can use email templates in your business. This one that I have as an example is, I know a lot of people are looking for listings right now. So how can we prospect for listings? I thought this would be a good specific template we could work on today. So I made this little graphic. It says, I have buyers looking near you. Here's some popular features they're looking for. Who do you know? I made this graphic right inside Command in Designs. And then I put some buyer profiles together. And then I put a spot that we could put a little call to action. So this took me about 10-15 minutes to put together. So there's a sample I wanted to start with to give you guys an idea of what we're working with. Can you guys put in the chat, let me know if you have ever worked with email designs in Command before. Just put yes or no in the chat or in the comments if you're watching on YouTube. Perfect. Brandy's a yes. Okay. Okay, we got a little bit of both. All right. Okay. Just want to know where we are so I know where to start for everybody. For those of you that have never worked with it, if you've used designs before, it's in the same place. So to get to those email templates, we're going to go to the left-hand side of Command. If I click that red square, it'll show us the names of everything. I'm looking for that paintbrush called Designs. So that's going to open up all of our designs. These are all things I've worked on already. So if you've never been in here, this will be blank. But we want to create a new design. So I'm going to hit create up in the top right-hand corner and choose email because that's what we're focusing on today. We're looking at those email templates. And you can see there are 72 templates that are already created. And for those of you that have looked at emails before, I'm going to point out a couple of updates. We now have a search field. This is a newer feature. So if you know you want to do something about an open house, make sure you spell it right. You can just type in open house and here are my open house templates. I can also sort by date, new to old, old to new. And I can start totally from blank if I want a blank slate and I want to create the whole thing from scratch. Me personally, I don't want to do that. I don't want to recreate the wheel. So what I chose to do for this one is I actually took a template. There isn't a template that's like a buyer profile template, but I took a template that was, I think I did a just listed or a just sold template. All you have to do is click on the one you're looking for. This is not the same one I just did, so it's gonna be a little different look, but I just want you guys to be able to see that there's a different feeling depending on what you're looking at. I do want to point out that you'll see that there's, most of them will say classic, approachable, luxury, or modern in front of it. So if you stick with that same word in the front, no matter what template you're using, the branding will match across the board. So if I always look for that classic look, whether I'm doing a classic just sold, classic open house, classic just listed, everything's gonna match and look nice and cohesive. So the design team made that easy for you so you don't have to try to move elements around and match colors and all that type of stuff. So I'm gonna pick this classic one, just hit next, and here is my template. So there's lots of things that are already in here. And most of these templates, actually, I think all of the templates will have at the top here, your market center name, and at the bottom, they're gonna have some sort of your contact information and your legal footer. So it'll just, like this one has it all in a nice little box. So the different templates will appear differently on the templates, but all that info will still be there. And I know this looks a little funky because it says, you know, agent first name, last name, but you can't actually see the info that's in there. So these are what we call merge fields. And that means that all of your information that's in your marketing profile is going to merge right into the template there. So if you want to take a sneak peek of what that's going to look like before we edit anything else, you can go ahead and hit this eyeball here. It's kind of up to the top right, or go all the way up to the very top right and hit options, and there's a preview there. So this will show you exactly what your email looks like with the information pulling from those different places. So you can see now it doesn't look funny. It's got my picture, it's got my office license number there, phone number, etc. There's the legalese that you need to stay compliant. And then my footer with my office and my branding. So when you do edit the body of your email, you can still use that preview button to see what this is going to look like to your consumers as well. Any questions about that? Pretty straightforward. Just need to know where the button is, right? Don't see anything in the chat. Okay, then I'm going to keep going. So let's say this is the template I love, but like I said, I don't want to do a just sold. I want to do something about, looking for listings, right? I want to put some more stakes in the ground, find some more properties out there. So you can click on any of the elements in here and you'll start to see they'll highlight in a little box, and you'll have a little edit option, which is the pencil, or the trash can, which is delete. So this one, I only used one image. So let's say I don't want to put 3 images. I could just hit this trash can and that would go away. Maybe you do want to use 3 images. Maybe you want to find some cool pictures of houses, like a popular layout for a kitchen or something. You can leave all those pictures in there. That's totally fine. I'm going to hit edit, and I'm going to hit replace over on the right-hand side. So the left-hand side is going to be kind of a preview of everything, and the right-hand side is where we're going to do all of the editing. So I'm going to hit replace, and I have lots of images that are already loaded in here. So I can use a previous image, or I can come to the far right and I can add an image and upload my own content. I also have this listing image button. So if I'm working with a specific property, I can find it from the MLS by searching by the property address, the MLS number, or the KWLS ID. I'm going to pick this one in Florida, and I'm just going to see if there's a cool room shot that we might want to use. And that's kind of fun. So I'm just going to select that image and hit replace, and so it popped in over on the right-hand side here, and I'm just going to hit done. And now it's showing reflected on that left-hand side. So that's how you add images in. Let's find another cool listing picture. This one has a lot of photos. Was that the same one I picked? Haha. And so that image is just popping right in place. Now, like I said, if you don't want to have these in here, maybe you just want one image, all you have to do is click it and hit that trash can and it'll go away. For me, I made my image in Designs already, and I downloaded it to my computer, that buyer one. So I'm going to hit my pencil, I'm going to hit replace for that image, and I'm going to go to add images, and then I can just click and browse my computer and upload the image that I'm looking for. I would hit open and it would upload right in there. It should be in my images already because I just did this. And you can see there's a whole bunch of things I put in here. Maybe you don't want to go through loading all of them. So that's where it comes in handy. So there's mine at the bottom, the newest one's at the bottom. So if you don't want to have to go through all those, you can just upload it again. But there's one that I had already used. I selected it. I'm going to hit replace. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to hit that again. Hit done, and now it's in that spot. So for what we're working on, we probably don't want this to say just sold, right? So I can go ahead and hit that pencil. What's something you guys think would be a good eye catcher heading for when you're looking for listings? Anybody got a thought on that? Brandy, yes, I made this little template. I use this a designs template to make that little graphic. Yep. It was one of the website templates. There we go. Angie want to know what your home is worth. Whoops, was her suggestion. So I'm just going to type that in. I'm going to hit done. And now you can see it over here as well. So if I don't like that it's all justified on the left, I have these tools just like you would have in Word or your email where you can center it so it's not all pushed to the left side. Or, okay, looking for buyers, thinking about your next move. So you could do all those things. I love those ideas, you guys. Maybe we want to do something. Oh, we're looking for sellers. I'll put that. That's a short one. Maybe we don't want something so long up here, right? So looking for sellers. Thinking of selling, whatever you want to put in there. Now it's not quite as full. Then I have this next line. I can put more text in there. Let's see, what else did we have? Thinking about your next move, looking for sellers. Thinking about your next move. All right, and if you guys don't want 2 things of text in here, I'm going to center that. You can always just delete it. You can just have a red bar as a nice little border. You don't have to have text in both of those spots. So I could just click this and hit the trash can, and now I just have a nice little divider. And if you look at it and you're like, no, actually, I don't like that, there's an undo button just up to the top right of that left-hand section, and my image will come right back, or my text or whatever I deleted will come right back. I don't want that black. There we go. Okay, so that's how you edit your text and upload your images. And then all I did for my sample here was I wrote buyer profiles, and I just put, I don't have any buyers that are looking, but I just found, or I just kind of put some, oops, sorry, my mouse is being weird. There we go. I just kind of picked some, you know, price ranges and what those people might be looking for and what areas they would be looking in. And you could do the same thing here. I'm just going to click the text box and put, you know, beds, baths. You don't have to put square footage, you know, whatever the information is that's important to your buyers. Towns, that's probably a good one to know. And what did I put for my first one? Oh, price. Yeah, that's important. Towns, looking, whatever you want for that. And then all I did was made sure it all matched the same font and the same size. So you guys see how, just like in Word or your email, you have all those same tools there to quickly update all of that. And once I got that all the same, I just copied it. I'm just using my keyboard shortcuts, but you could right click, copy paste too. And I just pasted it. And then I put the information in there of whatever that price range was, right? The 700, I just type it all in, the 300, etc. Same thing, beds, baths. Wow, you're not gonna get a house for 300 with 5 bedrooms, I don't think. 3, 2, etc. So I just typed all of that in. I'm gonna hit done, and you'll see now it's popped into place. We'll hit edit one more time. I just wanted to see what it looked like. And I could choose to center that if I wanted to. I think it looks fine on the left, especially if I have more information in there. It's gonna push farther across the screen. And you'll notice on this sample that I put together, I actually alternated the colors. I thought that was just visually a little easier for people receiving the email to see it. So I'm just gonna highlight the text I want to change the color of. And one of our tools in here is your colors. So maybe I want them red instead of gray like I did in my sample. You just pick that color you want. Again, just hit done. And now it's in place there. And I probably don't need these. So I'm just gonna select them and hit the trash can. But what I do need is some sort of call to action, right? Because this is really nice. Got some good info in here, but what am I supposed to do as a consumer if I know somebody that matches these profiles that might be looking to sell? We got to tell them what to do. So if you need to add something into your template that's not already there, we've got some widgets on the right-hand side, and you just click and hold the one you want. I'm going to click that text box. I'm going to drag it into the location I want it to be. You guys see how that green line popped up? See some head nods? Okay, that's where my text box is going to drop. So I can drop it right there. I can now click my text box, hit edit, and we can put our call to action right here. You know, instructions, blah, blah, blah. Oops. Not that it matters. And then we have our call to action in there, and all of your contact information will be right below that. I'm going to hit save. And let's take a peek at it. So now that I've made a bunch of edits, I can hit that preview button. And I can see exactly what it's going to look like to my consumers. Now look, something funky happened here. So let's go back and take a look at that. But other than that, I think it looks pretty good, except that I obviously didn't put real text in here. You would want to put an actual call to action there. Sometimes these get a little funky. I'm just going to make sure I'm going to highlight everything and make sure everything's on that left hand justified there. There we go. That should have fixed it for us.
Hey, Amy, D-Stall here. In regards to call to action, could you have it where it goes to a form, a sheet?
Oh, yeah, sure. So like you say, whatever you want to say, and if you want to give me this information or you have information to share, you can use this button option on the far right, and I can drop a button right underneath that. Hit edit, and I can, say click here instead of button. Wow, I can't type today. Click here, whatever you want the button to say. You can actually make the button bigger or smaller, make it a little wider, a little taller. You can see it says width and height, so that'll change the dimensions of that button. You can change the font. The position is where the text is on that button, and you can change the coloring. Let's say we want it to be red, like that. And you can actually change the corners of the button. So right now it's on square. If you want it more rounded, you would switch to that rounded side and say, you can make it less or more rounded. I'm just going to put, I don't know, put 15 in there. We're going to hit done, and you'll see all those changes I made now. One thing that we didn't talk about on the button there is that here's our option right here, link to, and you could say a landing page. So if you had something created in Command already, you could link it to a landing page, or you can do your web address. And then D, if you were doing a Google form, there's a shareable link for the Google form. So you would just copy and paste that link right in there, and that's where that button would go.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep, exactly. I'm going to hit done. We'll hit save. And then that leads right into a great question that came up in the chat. Can we make the images clickable? And yes, you sure can. So let's say, I know maybe it's not relevant for this specific example, but let's say maybe you had a picture of a listing and you were doing an email about a listing and you want somebody to be able to get more information about that property. You can click your image and hit edit. And at the bottom, so I just showed you how to replace the pictures, but if you look a little bit farther down, we've got link to, and again, we have landing page, merge tag, and web address. So if you have an address you want it to go to, you can just copy and paste it there. And when somebody clicks on that link, that image, that's where it will take them. So let's just go to kw.com and we'll do Glen Ellen, Illinois. And let's say I just want to do a search in Glen Ellen and I want people to find that, or I want people, this is Wheaton, but that's okay. Let's say this is my property and I want somebody to come right to this page. I've just selected the listing page and copied the URL. So now if I put that URL in the email, when they click it, it will come directly to this page for them. So they get all that information that they need. And then they're staying on your KW site as well. So if they create a profile on your site or your app, because if they did open this on their phone, it would open in the app instead of the website. And if they want to save a search or anything, you will be able to see all of that listing activity inside Command and what they're clicking on. So I copied that URL. We're just going to go ahead and paste it right here. We're going to hit done. And we'll hit save. And I'm not sure if the preview will, I don't, the preview doesn't show the live link. So if you want to test it, you can hit that options button and you can send yourself a test email, or you can hit download template. And it does, for the links, it doesn't matter which one you do. I'm just going to hit download. You see it went into my download folder right here. When I open it, I can now click on that image and you can see my page is loading. And it took me right to that. listing on the website. It worked. No, I'm just kidding. I knew it was going to work.
So going back to that picture there, would you
Yeah.
put click here button inside that picture then?
You could. So this is an image that I made beforehand. So I would have wanted to put like click here on that image. You can also add a button under it and say like click here for more info, or you can put text under it. Say click below for more info.
This is awesome. Thank you, Amy.
Yeah. Maybe we just say like this little edit, more info here. See, I don't like that that's stacked. So we'll just make it a little wider, and now it's on one line. Ta-da! I didn't put the link in it, but you know, if you had set it up with the link, you could do that too. Some people just inherently click pictures, so it is nice to have that in there. One other thing I didn't mention is when you are working with images, there's this alternate text button here. So what that means is if for some reason that image isn't loading on your recipient's browser, so they open their email and for some reason the image isn't popping up, if you put alternate text here, whatever text you put in that box is what will show up instead of the image. So if you want to go the next step and do that, you can. But this text will not show anywhere unless that image isn't opening in their email. People ask me about that one a lot. Oh, go ahead.
That, would you suggest putting the text that's on the image? Like, so for instance, that top box says, I have buyers looking near you. Or what would you suggest putting in the alternate text image or spot?
Well, it just depends on what your imagery is. So like this one, like you said, it has text in it. So you could just kind of do like a recap of what's in there. Sometimes people will put like, oops, didn't load, you know, something, an error message like that. Some people will say, click the button below if there's a button. It just depends on what you want your clients to be doing with that imagery. And then Rebecca, I see you put something in the chat here. Would it be better to do the link on the photo and do a button below or just do one? Oh, it doesn't matter. You can definitely do it in both places. I would say if you're just doing one, I would do the button over the link in the image just because some people don't know to click the image unless they're told to. So maybe you did an image like I did ahead of time and you put text on the image that said click here, well, then you don't need a button. It already says it on the image. But in this case, there's nothing in my image that makes me as a consumer think I can click this and get more information or get a form to fill out or, you know, anything like that. So a button would be helpful to indicate that as well. I do want to let everybody know that there are, like I mentioned, there's lots of widgets on the side here. I do have a little playlist on my YouTube channel specifically about these emails, and I go in depth onto each little item here and how they work. So if you look for that playlist, I think it's just command your emails, something like that. And they're just like 5 to 10 minute videos that talk about each of these little options right there. So I wanted to let you know that that's available as well. Are there other questions? Maybe you want to see something again or something I didn't mention that you want to know about? No? Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing really quick. So today, this part was very much like, this is where you click to do the things, right? And I just used one example of how you could use it for prospecting, but you guys probably get a lot of questions from people that maybe you're getting the same questions from 20 different people. Like you get a list of buyers, or you have a buyer that has, 10 questions and your next buyer has similar questions to them, or same thing with sellers, like what's going on with the process. You can make a template that has FAQs in it so that you don't have to recreate that email every single time you want to send it out. So does that seem like something that would be helpful to all of you guys? I'm gonna.
Yes. Do you have a video? Do you have a video on that in your YouTube? How to do that, Amy?
Not on that specifically, but you would be able to do the same thing with pick your template. You just make your one template. And then I wanted to show you this here. Now that I've created these, let's say you make that buyer one and now you're like, all right, I want exactly the same email, but I'm going to update the text in it. But I don't want to have to redo all of my formatting and all of my layouts and stuff like that. When you come into designs and find that one you just made, you can hit these 3 little dots and hit make a copy. So now you can say I have copy of classic just sold and I have classic just sold. So when I go into my copy, it's already set up and I can just change my text that's in here without having to update everything else that I already touched. And you can do that for any template. So that's another fun little tip for you guys. The other thing I wanted to mention with the emails is please always make sure you're using a call to action and you're using those footers, those legal footers, because we want you to be compliant, of course. We don't want anybody to get fined. So everybody's states have different rules. So check with your managing brokers if you have questions about how to stay out of real estate jail or get marketing fines. But then, like I said, having that call to action, we put ours at the bottom in that one, is really important, because if you just put information out there for people to see and don't tell them what to do, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to do it. You'll get people that'll go to the next step, but just suggest to them, hey, do you know somebody who has a house that fits this criteria? Please get me, please let me know, or give me their contact information if it's okay with them, or if it's you know what I mean? Just put something in there so they know what to do. Because if you're just like, do you know somebody? And they're like, yeah, I do. You're like, how does that help you if they never reach out, right? So just tell them what your expectations are in your email. It doesn't matter if it's a buyer thing. If you're doing like a holiday email, you can put something of value in there. So just make sure you're doing that, because we want this to be interactive with your clients. Any other questions? Did something come in the chat here? Oh, it's a yes. Okay, anything else that you guys want to see again, or questions about these emails? Okay, so the reason I showed you these today is because next week we will be going over how to use these templates. So you can send a bulk email, so one mass email to a whole bunch of people, or you can actually incorporate these into smart plans. So if you're doing a multi-step email campaign, whether it's email and text, or just emails, or task reminders, or call reminders, you can actually build that template just like we did today and feed it right into a smart plan, so it can be one of the steps of your smart plan as well, which that FAQ thing would come in handy, because if you have a smart plan set up to talk to buyers about what to expect, you could have an email that you built here be one of the steps that answers all of those buyer questions. And that's all I've got for you today. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, we'll be on YouTube Saturday at 7 a.m. And you guys can go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel to get updates for when new videos hit.